Welcome to our seventh week of training tapes for New Mexico high school football. My name is Victor Sanchez. I want to wish everybody a good week this week. We are in district play. Games have heightened intensity, and so we want to make sure that we're the calming force out there. Just again, as a reminder, these plays are not here to disparage any team, official, or player or coach. We're just here to learn and get better as the season goes out, and we've got a few plays to go over today. Plus, we do have the play from last week. We didn't have an official poll, but I'm sure all of you had an opinion whether that was a catch or no catch, and we'll talk about it at the end of today's training tape. So let's get started with our first play. We're going to have a punt. We can see our punt returner back here around the 25-yard line, and he's going to make a catch. And then he's going to be tackled, and this ball's going to come loose. And we're going to treat this like it's a fumble, and everybody's reaction as if this is a fumble, and we're killing that play. So let's talk about a few things here. Let's talk about positioning. I'm going to freeze it right about the time he's about to catch it. We got our line judge in decent position down here. He's looking down to see if he can help with kick-catch interference or anything like that. So that's good position right there. We have our back judge in relatively decent position. Has a decent angle on the play and can see through the covering player from the punt team and the receiver to see when contact occurs. So we're in decent position right here. Now, as we watch the play develop, he's going to get grabbed, wrapped, and slammed down, and then that ball's going to come out. And that's where our judgment really needs to come in. As if we play this back and we take a look at this action here by the tackler, he takes him to the ground, and right about there we can see he's on the ground and that ball is coming out. And so in order to judge whether or not this is or is not a fumble, we need to know if we have a body part down. Our back judge, given that angle, can't see when the body hits, so we really can't tell from that perspective if he's down or not down when this ball comes out. But our line judge has a great look at when the body hits and if that ball comes out. And so we need to be on top of this and make a judgment as to whether or not this is or is not a fumble. If we play it in some kind of slow motion, we can see, looks like he's down. Looks like he's down before that ball comes out. But this is a judgment call. That hip is on the ground. The ball seems to be coming out right about this time, but it has to be a judgment call, and we have to go with what we see on the field. So as this play develops, we let it play out as a fumble. We award the recovery to the kicking team at about the 8-yard line, and we move on from there. But we have to be able to see what transpires on this play, when that body's down, and does that ball come out after. We rule this a fumble. Mechanically, we're in the best positions we can be, and now it's just a matter of judgment as to body part down and ball loose. Our second play today is going to involve interlock blocking on a field goal attempt. We're going to get a flag down for interlock blocking on this field goal attempt by the kicking team. And so what we want to look for is the penalty enforcement is different on this type of play than on a scrimmage kick play. So the penalty, according to Rule 921, is 10 yards on this play for interlock blocking. And we do have a foul for interlock blocking thrown by the referee on this play. So we would enforce this 10 yards. Now, if this was a scrimmage play, regular snap from scrimmage, running play, pass play, and we had interlock blocking, that penalty would only be 5 yards. And that rule is under 722 illegal formation, interlock blocking during scrimmage plays. So important distinction here. When you have interlock blocking on a field goal attempt, we're going to penalize 10 yards. When you have interlock blocking on a regular scrimmage down, that's only going to be a 5-yard penalty. So make sure you check those rules and know the proper enforcements. Our third clip today involves some unsportsmanlike and flagrant acts by two players during the game. You can see we have two kids engaged here. What appears to be a fight during the play. Let me back it up a little bit and let's kind of slow this down. So what we have, when this camera pans in, is we have two players. Let's move it up. We have two players who are grabbing each other by the face mask. Got one by number 5 grabbing number 78 by the face mask, And then 78 is going to grab number five's face mask, and we got flags coming in from officials. So, I mean, we have a fight here. We definitely have what looks like punches being thrown, strikes to the head by both players. And so we got to break this up as quickly as we can. Other players are going to get involved at some point, but they do not constitute fighting or anything unsportsmanlike. Uh, on this particular instance, we do want to make sure that we get the one who started this. We do not know who started it. We pan into it late, but we can see number five is clearly throwing blows to the head of number 78, while number 78 appears to be trying to push off number five during this action. Um, During this game, both players were ejected for fighting, and the penalties that go with that follow through to the NMA office. And we'll talk at the end of this video about the ejection process and the paperwork that goes with the ejection process. But good job to get in here and break this up as quick as possible. If at all we want to get the instigator for who started this, if we know who the instigator is. But when we have action like this, we got to penalize it accordingly. This is not what we want our game to reflect, and definitely not tolerable in any football game when we're grabbing face masks and throwing punches at each other. Going back to that fight clip we had earlier in our session, we want to talk about incident reporting, and just want to make sure that everybody understands that not foul reports, ejection and disqualification reports need to be in within 24 hours after the game. And you can read for yourself here the last paragraph, but basically you need to have a narrative of the events, an objective narrative. This happened, that happened, this happened. No opinion, just the facts that happened. They have to be sent to the NMA office within 24 hours, either by fax, and the number is there, 505-923-3114, or via email to Chris Kedge at chris@nmact.org. Or you can send it by mail, which I have yet to see anybody send an ejection report by mail in my career. So make sure that we're getting our ejection reports in within 24 hours. Make sure you call your regional assigner, regional coordinator, if you have an ejection, so they are aware of it, and so that way they can make the office aware of it. But without the written incident report, really it doesn't go any further. So you got to get that in within 24 hours. Play number 5 today involves the ruling of fumble versus down. And throughout the season, the last 2 seasons, we've been emphasizing moving with a purpose and not moving until you have to. And this play indicates how movement can affect our judgment, even if it's a small amount of movement. You can see our runner coming up the field, and he hits the ground, then the ball comes out, and we're going to rule a fumble here, which is incorrect because the runner's elbow is clearly down. But what I want to bring your attention to is the movement of the line judge. So I'm going to freeze it right about here, and we're going to take note of our line judge, who's positioned right where he should be as this play develops, but then he gets a little anxious and he starts to move, and then this runner goes down, and now we're ruling a fumble, and that little movement is just enough to cause us not to see the details of a play. There was no need to move on this particular play. It was a run to his side of the field that had not crossed him yet. That ball has yet to cross the line of scrimmage, and if it had crossed the line of scrimmage, it maybe is a yard in front of it. No need to move on this particular play. So that's the first thing. Do not move unless you have to. Let the play get ahead of you. We'll look for blocks, and in this case, when you see this runner being tackled, see the details. Now, let's talk about the runner being down. We all know the general rule. It's not in the rule book, doesn't say it anywhere, but the ground cannot cause a fumble, because essentially if a body part is down short of the hand or the ankle or the wrist or the foot, then the runner's not down. But once any other body part hits the ground, the runner's down. And we can clearly see right here the runner's knee is down, and then the elbow hits, and then the ball comes out. So we got to be able to see those details to be able to rule down or fumble. In this case, our movement, I am 100% positive, our movement caused us to miss the details of how this runner got down. This is a big turnover because now the defense has it at the 15-yard line. They have a short field to work with. We got to be accurate on fumble, not fumble. As opposed to the punt play we saw earlier. That punt play we weren't in great position, but it wasn't by any fault of our own. We were just had a lot of distance, and our line judge had to make a decision whether the body part was down or not down when that ball came out. That we can live with judgment. But in this particular case, we have a clear look at what this is, and we should be able to rule correctly that this is down by rule, runner down, no fumble, award the ball to the offense. Well, we saved our last clip to go back to the catch no catch from last week, and so we'll let the play out, and we'll take a look at it again one more time. Catch or no catch? Do we have a catch? Do we not have a catch? Well, let's talk about the process of a catch once again, just so that way we know. I'm going to freeze about right here. So, process of a catch involves 3 elements. The number 1 is firm control of the ball. The second element is a body part down in bounds, and the third element has some sub-elements. It is basically an element of time or an act common to the game or surviving the ground if the receiver is going to the ground. So, in this particular instance, let's play it in slow-mo. Firm control, definitely firm control at this particular point, right? Body part down, that left foot is on the ground. He has firm control, body part down. Now we need to satisfy the third piece of criteria. Does he commit an act common to the game? Does he have an element of time that allows this to be a catch? Or does he survive the ground? So we know he's not going to the ground, so it's just a matter of element of time and an act common to the game. And if we play it in slow motion, yeah, looks like a catch. Maybe not so much. Does it? Slow motion really does mess with our eyes because everything can look like a catch in slow motion. But the reality is that when we play this in full speed motion, this is not a catch. There is not enough time. He only takes 1 step after completing his body part down and firm control, and he's still pulling the ball in to become a runner. He's still trying to get total control of it under his arm. So we like this for incomplete pass. This is not a catch. This is not a catch fumble. This is not a catch fumble, forward fumble out of bounds for a touchback. This is not a touchdown. This is an incomplete pass. Again, appreciate everybody taking time to talk about this play. I'm sure that stirred up a lot of discussion, but there's just not enough element of time here to consider this a catch. Everybody have a good week of football this week. Travel safe and make sure that they're big and that they're there.
As we close out this week's Plays of the Week, don't forget to send any interesting plays to our Huddle program for feedback. Not only can reviewing film help you better adjudicate similar situations, but it's a valuable tool for improving your mechanics and positioning. Take the time to watch yourself and learn from it. Have fun this week, safe travels to those on the road, and remember, make them big.